Jana was brilliant. Jana was a critical thinker. Jana was fun. Jana was happy. Jana was difficult sometimes. Jana was my best friend. And Jana is missed. She was happy. She loved life. She looked for the positives. Always had a mind of her own. And getting to be Jana's mom was a lot of fun.
She was amazing and funny and super smart. And she was the kind of person that you really wanted to hang around with, but you also really wanted to be like as well, because she was very focused on the things that were important to her, but still able to have a really good time. And I definitely looked up to Jana.
Once Jana switched her academic study from music to women's issues or women's studies, she began to recognize the importance of volunteering at the local domestic violence and sexual assault center or provider there in Lawrence. And she would call Christy and I and talk about some of the things that she was doing and the things that would upset her and the things that she saw, that many people don't see on a day-to-day basis. She was in the trenches working with women who needed help, and it motivated her. She developed a deep desire to make life better for people that needed her help, and she would never turn back from that.
The body of 25-year-old Jana Lynn Mackey of Lawrence was found in Garcia Nunez's home last night.
The cause of death has not been released, but Mackey's body was removed from the home shortly before 11.
The 25-year-old KU student was found dead Thursday night. Police say Mackey's ex-boyfriend is responsible for her death.
Detective Brown comes into the room, and he stands right next to Christy. And Detective Brown says, and these are the exact words he used, he said, "Brace yourself. We found Jana. She's deceased."
Time stopped at that minute. I can remember every single thing about that room. I can remember where the clock was. I can remember where the detective was sitting. I can remember my reaction. I can remember every single thing. Because when your life changes that dramatically, time does stop. And Jana had been such a huge part of my life. At that minute, I couldn't even imagine how my life had just been altered.
At that very moment, the greatest pain that the human body can endure hits you like a lightning bolt. It is beyond comprehension of what was just said.
Yeah, we had just been up in Kansas for Memorial Weekend, because we go up for that every year. And then on July 3rd or whenever it was, we got a phone call from Christy's sister, and I happened to pick up the phone. Sorry. And she told me that Janet, I don't know that I can do that, actually.
So if this can happen to Jana, a domestic violence murder, it can happen to anybody. We say that because Jana was an expert in the field. She was a sexual assault and domestic violence advocate. She understood the issues of gender equality. She understood the issues of violence, power, control. She understood the issues, the underpinnings of domestic violence.
It was so unbelievable, because if you would have asked me who is the last person that would be murdered by an ex-boyfriend, you would say Jana Mackey.
So what do we do? So what does life look like now?
What we dealt with as a family is happening in every neighborhood, in every community in this country.
It may have started because of Jana, but today it's really about not just my daughter, but everyone's daughters.
This is about the spirit of history, that certain times in life, certain things happen for a reason. And it is my belief that Jana's death was part of a plan to move important issues of reducing violence against women forward.
Well, Jana's campaign is a group of people that got together to try to figure out where we can make the biggest difference in stopping the cycle of domestic violence. And so we started out trying to figure out what is the problem, and we're all learning about it too. We break it down into 3 different areas: prevention, services, and accountability and justice.
Yeah, so, I had a friend who was murdered, and it was a domestic violence issue. But how many other friends do I have, or how many people in my life have been impacted by this? And when you really start to think about it, the widespread impact that it makes is enormous. And those are just the instances that I know about, So by being able to lose the stigma, by being able to have a conversation about domestic violence and about how that impacts all of us, all that it can do is help to eliminate the problem.
You have to talk to someone. If you are in this situation, or even if you know someone who is in this situation, you have to encourage them, or you yourself are going to have to pick up the phone and call someone. There are people in the business of helping you, but you're not going to know what they know unless you talk to them.
Find your place. Help a friend. Help your community. You can even help us. Get the word out. Let's make a difference. Let's change the world.